The end of a run. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg drops out of the presidential race. See how local residents react and what the future holds for the Democratic Party.
Historic meeting. South Bend Schools and the Common Council came together to discuss the future of South Bend Schools.
C2E2. I had the opportunity to get an exclusive interview with Tested and ex-Mythbusters host Adam Savage. See what he had to say about his experience at Chicago's Comic Entertainment Expo.
All that and much more up next on Buzz in the Bend.
From our studios at Riley High School, it's time for Michiana's #1 student talk show, Buzz in the Bend.
Hello and welcome to Buzz in the Bend, Michiana's #1 student talk show. I'm Alex Almanza.
I'm Bernardo Malone.
And I'm Ryan Pandori, all from Riley High School.
So how you guys been doing? I mean, it's been pretty busy couple weeks.
Right.
We've been working on some new projects, actually. We've been working on the IASB submissions, and how's that gone for you guys? I know you probably didn't submit anything, but I know you did. You submitted a few events to our competition that we do every year. So that should be pretty fun, shouldn't it? Right?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about it. Hopefully I come in first or second, as
Yeah.
long as it's the top 3, actually.
Top 3, definitely.
So,
I'm sure that's
just so I can get up and walk on the stage.
right. Yeah, definitely. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana, exited the 2020 presidential race on Sunday after a 4th-place finish in South Carolina. SBS-TV's Bernardo Malone was fortunate enough to attend this event and talk to supporters on how this impacted them.
So tonight, I am making the difficult decision to suspend my campaign for the presidency. I will no longer seek to be the 2020 Democratic nominee for president, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that we have a new Democratic president come January.
Tonight, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg has suspended his run for presidency. Now, Pete announced his run for president back in 2019 of April in his hometown of South Bend.
Initially, I was really disappointed. I can't think of a better candidate and a better person for our country right now than Pete, but also super proud to be from South Bend and to have people get to experience his knowledge and his word.
Buttigieg was traveling to a campaign rally in Texas where he took a detour to his hometown of South Bend, Indiana to break the news that he was dropping out of the race just days before Super Tuesday.
So, a little bit of news for you about our flight. We're making a change in our travel plans and traveling to South Bend rather than to Texas. I'm going to be making an announcement there about the future of the campaign, and looking forward to sharing with our supporters and with the country where we're going from here. So that is why you will find that we are headed in a different direction than we were originally planned on.
President Donald Trump took to Twitter to react to the news, saying, quote, "This is the real beginning of the Dems taking Bernie out of play."
I'm from London, but I'm actually at the University of Notre Dame right now, so I'm kind of involving myself in American politics a little bit more than I might be back home. Judging by how popular he is around South Bend, I think he did a great job. I mean, you can only really judge someone based on the opinions of people who live here, and I think the vast majority of people that I've talked to saw him as a great mayor who pushed for great social change and really made South Bend a better place. Yeah.
So I'm in the same boat. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, student at Notre Dame. But I was able to, in visits, having family friends that live here, the attitudes, like the bipartisan support that he's really garnered in this town. And I come from a small kind of industrial town in Pennsylvania that there's a lot of parallels between the two. So it's been cool to see a young person in politics make such tangible change.
Was it hard for you to support him, or how did that go along?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm not going to say I didn't think about it, but at the same time, the way that he talked about his husband is the way that I talk about my husband. And the things that are important to them as a family are the things that are important to me and my family. And when he talked about inclusion, which I certainly can appreciate as an African-American woman, that was just a part of him. Just like me being African-American is just a part of me, and him having a husband is just a part of him, and that's just it. What do we have in common? And that's what I appreciated about him.
This is Bernardo Malone, reporter for SBS-TV News.
Now, it was a very last-minute thing. If you can recall, it was a very last-minute call that Pete Buttigieg was actually on his way to Dallas, Texas, when he made the announcement, and now we have brand new information that Buttigieg and Klobuchar are both endorsing Joe Biden, and this is, this is rare. Rarely, if ever, have opponents join forces together in an effort to, slow down Bernie Sanders, and I think that's what they're going towards. They're going to trying to slow down the, their competitor. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing is that this is in years. I mean, not once that I can remember have we had an election where there's so many candidates running for the Democratic Party and advancing this far into the election. So, with so many going into Super Tuesday, there's on average roughly 3 candidates going into Super Tuesday. But with so many, it was a really big move for Pete to drop out alongside Amy. And with that, they know that they weren't going to perform well on Tuesday. So joining Biden and helping him take on Bernie Sanders, who has an extremely powerful base behind him. So I think it was a good move by both candidates, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the outcome is.
It definitely is going to be interesting.
And I definitely think Mayor Pete former South Bend Mayor Pete is going to land a job in the White House, whether that be like secretary or even VP.
VP might be, that's what everyone's saying.
Biden together.
Vice President to Joe Biden. I mean, that could be a possibility. So again, we won't know, but this is the year that the elections happen, whether it's Donald Trump or the Democratic nominee. We'll never know. But right now, like you said, getting very interesting.
Yes.
Right.
Last month, 2 elected boards held a joint meeting to discuss the futures of the city of South Bend and its public school system. For the first time in history, South Bend Common Council and South Bend School Corporation school board members came together as one to hold a special historic meeting.
We're thrilled to come together with our city's Common Council. This meeting, long overdue and historic, both the school corporation's elected board and the council's elected members have the parallel overarching goal of ensuring the health and vitality of the South Bend community.
How do we move forward as a community? Because we cannot, as a city, be healthy without a healthy public school corporation.
Now, both the school board and council told residents they want to work together to make South Bend schools a better school system.
This meeting must mark the beginning of a new way forward for our city and South Bend schools. Years from now, this moment must be remembered as the time when we came together as a community and chose a new way forward.
South Bend Mayor was in attendance, and here's what he had to say about tonight's meeting.
Well, the discussion between the two elected bodies focused on getting a committee around to reform a city schools agreement of how we work together. And so that's one takeaway. The second takeaway is we need to come together as a community and figure out a strategic plan for our schools in order for them to thrive, and figure out how to hold them accountable so that it gets implemented over time.
School Board Vice President Leslie Wesley and Dr. Todd Cummins is looking forward to working with the city, which includes something else historic on the May 5th ballot.
We're going to talk about a strategic plan. They want to be a part. The city council has asked if they could be a part of our strategic plan. We are asking for the community to support the students of South Bend by voting yes for a referendum.
We know we need to hire more counselors to help folks get to college or get to trade school. We need to hire more reading specialists to help our elementary students be able to read. And we need more socio-emotional workers because we need to be able to support our students.
For SBS-TV, I'm Bernardo Malone.
Now, Bernardo, when you attended this event, what are some things that you learned?
Well, some of the things that I learned is that mostly everybody in South Bend schools, and even if you don't have kids in South Bend schools, the parents, they want to work together with the city and the school system to make South Bend schools a better place for students.
Right. So what's your opinion on the school corporation being managed? Obviously Mayor Mueller did say that the Common Council doesn't have any control over what the final say
or
is
even
in
the city.
Right. Or the city has say in the corporation. What do you think? Do they have the right to do that? Should they be able to do that, or should the corporation be its own, little entity?
I think because it's all sourced down to the corporation itself, I think it should be a mutual decision.
Right.
between the two. So.
Yeah, I definitely think the city should have more things, well, more stuff to say to the school board and have some type of control over it because it's in the city. I could see if it was like a county school or something like that, but it's like right there smack in the middle of the city, and the city have nothing to.
I mean, it's the South Bend School Corporation.
Right.
That, and I think it's our second largest employer in the entire city.
Right.
It's a very large employer, and I mean,
Exactly.
With, thousands of employers. So, yeah, I definitely believe it is important.
Right.
Last week, Alex and I had the opportunity to go to Chicago for Chicago's Comic Entertainment Expo, also known as C2E2. Take a look at what this event is all about alongside an exclusive interview with Tested and ex-Mythbusters host Adam Savage.
Hey, it's Alex from SBS-TV News. We're here in Chicago at the C2E2 Comic and Pop Culture event. It's held every year, and it's one of the biggest events in Chicago, and we're here to bring you the most exclusive coverage.
I'm here with Adam Savage. How are you doing now?
Very good.
Good. So is this your first time doing C2E2?
This is the first time. I've been to Chicago many times. I have relatives, I have friends here. I love this city, but this is the first con here.
Great. So what have you enjoyed most about being here? I mean, it's only the first day, but what have you enjoyed most about being here?
First of all, that it's super crowded, and yet you can move through the aisles. That's unique in my experience. And like you said, it's my first day here, so I'm just getting to know the personality of the con. Every con has its own sort of flavor. Right now, what I'm noticing is that Midwestern cons are exceedingly polite. And I love that. I'm always pitching shows and ideas, both in the visual and audio department. My website, tested.com, is most of my attention these days. We're putting up a video every day, and we're getting to go to places like the set of The Expanse and movies that we're going to let people know about later on this year that we've got to spend some time on. So it's a lot more of that. Look, I love telling stories about making and about being creative in any media.
Now, is this your first year at C2E2, or how long have you been doing it?
We've been doing C2E2 since year one, so this is year 11 for us now here, and we absolutely love it. We've watched it grow when it was just a one hall sort of thing to now it spans basically the entirety of the convention center. The diversity of the booths that they have here, they've got everything from beautiful handcrafted wares to all the way up to the limited edition merchandise that is only C2E2 of exclusive. It's wonderful to be.
I was the inker on the Infinity Gauntlet, as well as the Avengers Annual #7, which is the first place that Thanos fought the Avengers. I didn't help with the comic book. I made the comic book. How long have I been doing it? Since I was 17 years old, which is 45 years ago.
Is this your first time at C2E2? How are you liking it?
No, I'm here all the time. I actually, when the convention leaves, I just set up a little pup tent in the corner. I'm here all year round. It's a very big, real convention, yeah.
You know, I hear Deadpool's going to be here, and so I'm real psyched to see him. And I haven't seen him yet, but I'm sure he's going to be around. Come to C2E2, it's awesome.
This is Ryan Pandori
and Alex Almanza reporting in Chicago.
Now, pretty fun day. I'd say
fun.
I would compare it to Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes, yeah. The entire time we were there, we would compare it to that. And it was like that because, you know, it wasn't a... yes, it was for SBS-TV, but it was also a thing that Alex, you know, it was his idea, and I think it was definitely a great idea because I mean, the package we got out of that was amazing, and I think the day was just pretty amazing itself. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely. I mean, Adam Savage, if you remember, and we went to tell a quick story here, but we actually, Ryan and I went to go get a photo op with Adam Savage, and they saw us with the cameras. They said, "Hey, what are you doing here? You can't. If you want interviews, you're gonna have to go talk to his handler." And we were like, "We're not here for interviews, but that would be pretty cool. Can you set us up with his handler?"
Like, why not? You know? So we were kind of hopeful that maybe it would work out. We ended up waiting in the line for autographs, and we got to the end, and his media team said that it was okay. So we got a short little interview, and it's better than nothing.
Nice.
I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Alex and Ryan's Day Off, except we didn't steal a car.
We did not. We did not. That was one thing on our list.
What? Okay.
There you go.
I was at the South Bend School Board meeting this past Monday, and 2 WNDU employees was recognized, including our very own Alex Almanza.
Tonight, 2 members of the 16 News Now family were honored at tonight's South Bend School Board meeting. And I hope none of you suffers from hippopotamomonstrosequipedaliophobia. Or, of course, the far worse, ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. That's our own Gary Sieber, who's being honored for his 40 years of serving as MC for the school corporation Spelling Bee. Every year, students compete for a chance to be in the National Spelling Bee Tournament in Washington, D.C.
Alex Almanza from
Another employee was honored tonight. Our own Alex Almanza received the award for Outstanding Career and Technical Education Secondary Student. Alex, a student at Riley High School, works as a part-time video editor here at WNDU. He's also learning to become a photographer. Congratulations to both Alex and Gary.
Now, good job on being recognized by your school board. What was your intake?
What was my take on it? Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool that also Gary Sieber, one of my other employees, was there. We actually had a photog there, Eric Walton. He was recording. So there's 3 people in the same room, three employees in the same room. But it definitely was an experience. And like I said, WNDU has given me an opportunity of a lifetime. Without the CTE program, obviously, I wouldn't have been able to grab that job. And I think I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot more. And I hope that that serves an example for future students, that it doesn't matter, what they're doing or what they plan to do. It just matters if they apply to themselves, and they can get that.
Right.
They can get.
And now you was also the first student to be hired at WNDU. How you feel about that?
And now people say that, but I'm not too sure. I might be the first high schooler to be hired there, but I'm not sure if I'm the first high schooler. I might be, but I'm not too sure. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, but you never know, right?
I mean, that'd be really impressive if so.
Thank you. Well, and that does it for this week's edition of Buzz in the Bend. As always, be sure to click that subscribe button and tap the bell icon to get notified when we upload a new video. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For Ryan Bernardo and the rest of the SBS TV News team, we'll see you next time.